Radical members of the Squad slamming Israel just moments ago. This comes as top Democrats reportedly threatened to retaliate after Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar were banned from entering the country. The White House firing back against House Democrats' plans to punish the U.S. and Israeli ambassadors with legislative action. Tlaib and Omar were denied access to Israel over their support of a boycott movement. Israel later granted Tlaib access on humanitarian grounds, but she turned it down. Omar also taking a swipe at President Trump.
We know Donald Trump would love nothing more than to use this issue to pit Muslims and Jewish Americans against each other. The Muslim community and the Jewish community are being othered and made into the boogeyman by this administration.
Tlaib and Omar also under fire for sharing a controversial cartoon on social media by an anti-Semitic artist. This is President Trump blasting the pair as radical Dems, saying they have such a disdain for Israel. All right, Dana, the Democratic Party again on its heels over anti-Semitism, and again looks like the face of the party as the Squad. Is this what Nancy Pelosi wants?
I probably shouldn't have been surprised that they had a press conference today, but I'm slightly surprised because I think that they could have turned the page, get it behind them, move on, and do something else. But by having the press conference today and trying to showcase that they just ensured the White House is probably going to respond again.
Yep.
Every Democratic candidate on the campaign trail is going to have to answer it, and the president's going to say something, and then we'll talk. Well, we could go another week talking about this, and my gut instinct is that they are not winning this argument.
They
might think they are winning the argument. It doesn't feel like
What does it say, Greg, that they do think that they're winning the argument?
Well, I think they've learned in this Trump era that conflict creates the news. So we carried this press conference. We wouldn't probably carried a press conference like that a couple of years ago. I don't think we would we? Some minor politicians in Minnesota becomes national news, and they love it. It's great for their brand. I think the left is in a fit, though, because how many people who never knew what the BDS movement was now know about it? I mean, it sounds like a medical disorder that that's advertised on cable, but it's like now, like I watch the media when they talk about the BDS movement, they have to look down and they go, the BDS movement stands for what does it stand for?
Something divestment.
Boycott, divestment, sanction. So it's like it's actually again in the Trump era. We're learning about stuff that we probably didn't learn about before, and I don't think it helps them because once people learn about the BDS movement, they see it's largely its origins are anti-Semitic, much like that cartoon. By the way, the cartoon wasn't very good.
No.
But the guy was a contestant in a Holocaust denial contest. That's not a good look for the Squad. But can I go back to that the one point about the new rules of engagement? Before Trump, this was a one-way street. The far left factions, anti-Semitic factions, could wage war on Israel, and you just have to grin and bear it, right? You just have to take it. Now there's pushback, and when you push back, they accuse you of being the bully.
And you know what? It's not just conservatives pushing back. Bill Maher himself, pretty liberal guy, came out and said the BDS movement was garbage and took a pretty hard position against the Squad. And then Rashida Tlaib came back and said, maybe we should boycott Bill Maher.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say that they are winning this argument.
You think so?
I think so. And just to
what evidence is there that they're winning?
Oh, I don't think there's any question there's been a backlash. You see Republicans as well as Democrats, Jewish people as well as Muslims, all saying Israel should have let them in, and don't forget, Netanyahu said he wanted to let them in until President Trump tweeted at him and
is
asked.
Happy with this, you think?
I think very happy because I think continuing this conversation, to just double down on Greg's point, it makes more people aware of the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement than ever before.
And that's a good thing.
I disagree with it, but I must say, suddenly, everybody's talking about it. But I'll say this to you as well. I think this is killing the D.C. consensus of support for Israel. I think it's now becoming politically polarized like so much. You know, I remember when people were upset that Benjamin Netanyahu was invited by the Republicans to come to Congress and criticize President Obama. But you know what? It went by. Now, this has been doubled down by Trump so that now everything is so political about Israel. And, you know, Democrats and Republicans for the longest time Look at our financial support, our military support, pro-Israel. And now Netanyahu and at Trump's behest is dividing that. There's going to be a
calling it an occupation is kind of a divisional.
And they're going to, put in a position.
All right, so the Israeli
divisive.
prime minister, he's the one that's being divisive, not the Squad?
Well, I will agree with Juan on one thing, and that is this does push the Democratic Party further away from Israel because Democrats are taking the side of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar instead of a long-standing ally. And you could say, well, they're Americans, they're congresswomen, that's why we're doing it. But if you look at the record and why they were not allowed into the country, the group they were going with celebrates suicide bombers who not only kill Israelis, but also Americans. They glorify terrorists who kill children. So that's one reason that they're left out. And during their press conference, and this is exactly what they're going for, they're talking about so much misinformation, right? Like they're acting like this is about Benjamin Netanyahu when it's about BDS, which is a movement that's been around for far longer than one political party, either in the U.S. or in Israel. And it's about not allowing the country to exist. Rashida Tlaib talks about the walls in Israel not being effective. Actually, they are at keeping suicide bombers out of Israel. And so there's a lot of things that they're putting on the table that they don't want to talk about in terms of human rights that don't jive with the leftist narrative. Just today, the Palestinian Authority banned all LGBTQ activity in the West Bank, while Israel has one of the largest gay rights parades in the world. So they're going to have to figure out, Democrats, whether they actually support real human rights in the Middle East, which come with Israel, including for Arab Israelis, or whether they support two congresswomen who are associated with groups who celebrate suicide bombings against American citizens.
And wasn't this whole thing exposed as a stunt, Greg, when the Israeli government let Tlaib come in to visit her grandmother on humanitarian grounds, and then she said no?
Who uses their grandmother as a prop? She wrote in a letter, "This may be the last time I see my grandmother." Then she decides not to see her grandmother, but she finds time to post this other cartoon. So I'm going to say I don't trust her. I don't trust anybody that would use their grandmother in such a manner.
Also,
she should apologize to her grandmother, Dana. Right?
But also, the two of them could have gone on the trip the week before.
Yes!
With 51 members of Congress, 30 Republicans, 21 Democrats.
Right.
They could have all gone together and been. From what I heard from that trip, all views were expressed, and these views could have been expressed.
Well, that's what Kevin McCarthy says. Kevin McCarthy, Republican, leader of the Republicans in the House, says, yeah, they should have been let in. Everybody should go.
No, but I'm saying they should have gone with the...
No, I don't think they have to go by anybody's...
But aren't we paying for it?
Of the United States
Aren't we paying for it, Juan?
Should they go with a group?
Aren't we paying for them so it would be cheaper as a group?
With this group,
What we've got
Juan,
is
should they go
members
with a group
of Congress
associated with
have
terrorism?
always been allowed to go without our president telling another nation's president,
not
oh, no,
with this
don't let
group."
my political opponents in. That, to me, and now this effort to say something about the ambassadors, they're just proxies for Netanyahu and Trump.
Can I just say one more thing about the aid point that Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are making? They're saying, well, we give Israel $3 billion in aid every year. Aid to Israel is actually an investment because in return for that, they give us technology, they give us counterterrorism operations, they stopped dozens of terrorist attacks last year in 20 different countries. The Palestinians use our aid, our taxpayer money, to pay terrorists and their families to kill Americans and Israelis. So that's the difference. What's the return on investment? And when it comes to Israel, we get a lot in return for the aid that we're giving them.
And maybe they didn't go to Israel with the other delegation. Maybe they had an appointment that they couldn't change. Those things, there's sometimes conflict.
Yeah,
you can't move a dentist appointment.
Netanyahu just had
Jury
to come
duty.
and criticize an American president in our country. Maybe we should have kept him out.
I think Obama denied entry to someone from Israel. I think it was in 2012, Juan.
Stop.
So it goes both ways.